it was a kind of a light day. The prosecutors did send out the photos when his house got raided. So go ahead, Kim. You could get a chance to put the pictures up, and we can see the stuff that I think this was a house in Miami. If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you're correct.
So, yeah.
In Miami.
Yeah. So you see they have baby oil, lubricants, as we can see. I don't know what the hell was up with this baby oil obsession. He has high heels, as we can see. He has high heels, sex toy games. So even though this was back in September when his house got raided. So this is mostly recent stuff of what maybe he was still doing that we could think of. But yeah, it shows that went to this house. He got a whole bunch of stuff as well, and also I heard they bought some firearm as well. But also in the courtroom today, they testified a psychologist. She was kind of blind in a way because they just wanted because this psychologist named Dawn Hughes. She has a lots of years of psychology. And they wanted to bring, I guess the prosecutors wanted to bring this person in to explain how, when it comes to trauma, when it comes to drug addiction, and also when you are getting abused for how an abuser and abusive acts in a way when it comes to being in a relationship. So they kind of talked about that, and then they also testified Diddy's former assistant as well, about certain things with what he saw with Diddy as well. So I do have a clip, Hakeem. So go ahead and play the clip of what happened today, and after that, we'll talk about day 8 of Diddy. Is up one more.
Okay.
Yep.
Now to the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. A former employee of the music mogul was granted immunity today. Without it, George Kaplan signaled his intention to invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Now that he's got immunity, Kaplan is expected soon to take the witness stand. Earlier today, prosecutors called an expert witness, psychologist Dr. Dawn Hughes. She testified about why it's common for victims to stay in abusive relationships. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all the charges. His lawyers argue that any acts of assault do show domestic violence, but not coercion or evidence of trafficking. Those are the big charges. Legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer joins me now outside of court. So, Brian, you've been in this court. How significant is this immunity deal, first of all?
Terry, it's a big deal because just think about the confines of how that immunity deal works. We heard that Kaplan would have pled the Fifth if he was to take the stand, meaning that his statements would have incriminated him. And don't forget, this is a RICO conspiracy case, so 2 or more people conspiring to commit criminal acts. And so the idea that I'm seeing here is that Kaplan would have testified to something that would have incriminated him and Sean Combs. Now he doesn't have to worry about incriminating himself, and he can give a full breath testimony as to what criminal actions he participated in, and more likely than not, how he did so at the behest of Sean Combs. And the directions of this case is going to turn, I think, in a way that shows this criminal enterprise is bigger than what we initially thought.
Yeah, and psychologist Dawn Hughes on the witness stand today, Brian, testifying about victims in abusive relationship. She's not interviewed anyone in the case directly. What do jurors do with testimony like this?
So Dawn Hughes is someone famous for this testimony. She's testified in the Keith Raniere case, the R. Kelly case, the Harvey Weinstein case. And what she does in her testimony is what we call a blind expert, because to your point, she hasn't interviewed anyone in this case, whether it be alleged victim or alleged perpetrator. She hasn't heard any of the testimony in the case or researched any of the documents associated with this case. She's simply creating a framework of why individuals stay in violent relationships, different coping mechanisms, what else does she have? The patterns of disclosure, as well as how memory is affected in traumatic experiences. And it's with that framework that the jury is supposed to then evaluate the testimony of Cassie and other alleged victims. But to your point, and on cross-examination as well, this is just a framework. She hasn't interviewed anyone, so she doesn't know if anyone's exaggerating or lying about their symptoms.
All right, Brian Buckmeyer, thanks for being there at the courthouse for us. See you later. Well, make sure to...
Yeah, so there you have it. That's what went on for today. And go ahead, Roddy. Do you want to talk about the photos, or do you want to talk about the trial, like bring that psychologist and talk about abusive relationships and everything? Go ahead.
Uh, no, when it comes to the aspect of the trial with the special agent, here's the thing. When they went to the Miami home and raided it, and they saw all the lubricants, the baby oil, the robe, the heels, you name it, it just showed you that they were really having an all night freak off. Especially in a special event. I think people fail to realize the type of lifestyle some of these people have, and they're just bringing it up to light. To me, once again, there was no crime committed. Now, also they were saying that they did find allegedly some possession of drugs that was there during the raid, like some spoons and a tablet, and also I think like some rolled up, $100 bills that they alleged they think they were using that for, you already know, cocaine, but it was the white stuff. But it was never confirmed it was actually being used. But but it's just the evidence showing like the photo of like, okay, it's $100 bill rolled up, and like when somebody's using it to snort, that somebody was pretty much using it, and also showed that Diddy had some hidden on phones in different areas of the house. So it was a lot of stuff going on in that house, in that Miami home, and also in the LA home as well. Moving along, when it comes to the guy that his assistant getting immunity, now he's able to speak. He's gonna be able to speak, and he's gonna have that freedom. So now he's gonna realize, hey, this is exactly what's going on when it came to aspect of the Diddy enterprise. No one will be able to hold me accountable just in case I lie a little bit. So that's the only good thing and the bad thing as well, because now he can just lie straight off his behind, and nobody can really say, "Oh, we gotta hold him under the court for lying," because now he got immunity. So let's see how that goes with the aspect of the prosecution. And now when it comes to the psychologist, like I told Hakeem on the last previous show, I told him that some of these people are dealing with traumatic experiences, so they won't say anything, even though the aspect of when you want people to say, "Hey, speak, say something." They're too afraid, to the point that a lot of people are afraid of Diddy. Day 26, you see Aubrey O'Day say she don't want to testify. People are afraid of Diddy. We got Kid Cudi Hakeem's coming on tomorrow for the testify. And let's see if he's afraid. They don't want to speak on Diddy's name. He's powerful, big dog. Go ahead, Hakeem. He's powerful.
I think a lot of this is just hearsay. You know what I mean? As I'm looking at the cases, I'm looking at the photos. These are things that any typical person would have at their house. I think.
No, now you capping.
No,
Exactly. Now you definitely
Well,
capping.
okay.
Well, the road may
about
be in the
mansion?
hills.
I'll say this. Maybe a mansion. I'll say a mansion.
Look, Hakeem. Maybe if you had handcuffs, I would have been like, yeah. Somebody, I got him. We all got handcuffs, but
listen,
come on, man.
listen. I think he's been framed. I think that as they break the case down and we start to get into the particulars of these things, we start to notice there's holes in this case. A lot of the stuff they're talking about are not pertinent to this, or not pertinent actually to these conversations. I could tell that I could tell that he was a deviant. He liked their freak offs, and the guys was willingly selling themselves to do freak offs. You know what I mean? So as I'm looking at it and analyzing, they still have to prove racketeering. One or two people conspiring to commit a crime. He's the only person. So he's going to get out. It's the same way with R. Kelly, who's in jail, and they caught him with a racketeering. I don't know how they locked him up. You know what I mean?
But quick question, I came because they found the pills in his house. They could probably link that to racketeering though. Because they did find some pills.
But listen here, he wasn't selling them. He wasn't trying to make money off of them. This is the thing.
Good point.
Where's he trying to get money? When we talk about racketeering and we go over cases like BMF, gangs, and the mafia, there was a point, there was an idea for them to do these things. Are we trying to get money or stuff like this? But I want to identify them and land my plane here to go back with why I say, is this a ploy to attack wealthy black men, to teach them a lesson, to keep us at bay, to teach us to say that we're still little boys?
No, because they were going after Weinstein. Epstein, I mean, sorry.
What? Yeah, but I don't know how that. You need to see how that went.
True.
Yeah.
Good point. He did.
So it's just ideas and questions, you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with start with the psychologist and everything. She had worked in various trials before, so I think what a prosecutor did, just give give good details of not knowing Diddy or Cass or whatever, just but with her experiences, is just talk about, hey, this is the person getting abused or being an abuser, or this what they will type. This were the things they'll do and everything. So I get that part, but looking at the photos, y'all, all that baby oil, also had drugs there. When does he sleep? When does Diddy sleep? Because um they said times when they had the Punisher, a sex worker was there. He said there was times like they would have a free calls for like 2 a.m. at night all the way to 11 in the morning. And that's that means you drugged up, you taking Xanax, all that stuff, whatever. And this like when do you sleep? Because you do this at night and then you do your business at the day, and then you got your kids, and then you got your kids too. Like, when do you sleep, man? Like, yeah, man, that's shoot. But yeah, but all that baby oil, man, that's I don't know what type of obsession he has with baby oil. Um, it might go to a child and everything, but when it comes to the Diddy's former assistant, when he'll get immunity and everything, I'm definitely want to listen to that because he does take a stand tomorrow, so they gonna bring him up, and he's definitely gonna display that. So I'm definitely interested with that going on. But other than that, with the Diddy case, far from today, is this to me the prosecutors. I mean, Diddy's probably because he has a very good all-star team because me, you right. We feel like he might win, but I feel like with other people that might be against Diddy, and also hearing it from the defense team, it just kind of makes you wonder, it's like, yo, can Diddy really win it? Instead of he's just going to jail. We all know he's going to jail, and to me, Diddy's defense does it just gives hope for Diddy. Say, hey, I got an all-star team. I'm gonna, my team's gonna be ready and everything. And with that team, y'all, like if he wins, because if he wins this case, it's because one of the all-star team he has because it's his defense attorneys.